We're back. This is Renovate and Build with Jim and Sandra, powered by Fair Trade Works.
We need money. We need money. Talking about money, money, money. We need some money. We need the moolah, y'all. We need moolah, y'all.
Well, I keep telling my boss that I need some more money, but he doesn't listen. Good morning and welcome to Renovate and Build, a show that doesn't cost you a cent to listen to. My name is Sandra Lummis, and I'm joined by my co-host and, yes, my boss that I'm asking for more money as well. He's the founder and president of Fair Trade Works, Jim Perkins. Good morning. No raise, huh?
Good morning, Sandra. Hey, I'm paying you by helping you out on this show here. Otherwise, I'll leave you doing the whole thing. However, I'm looking forward to talking money with Mr. Tony Ionetti, owner of DLC Mortgage Matches. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Jim.
What are you up to this weekend?
The gross grind, Jim.
Oh, wow.
You are very adventurous.
I'm going to break 50 minutes.
If it kills you.
And it probably will.
Do you want to place a bet?
Paramedics on top, please.
It's funny. I know that's not the first time Tony's done the grouse grind, because I actually called him last week. We were doing a bit of business. I called him for a question, and I answered the phone. I could for about 5 minutes. He goes, "Jim, hold on a second. I just done the grouse grind. Let me catch my breath."
To clarify, I think I said I was only at the quarter way, Jim.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I'm impressed that you just answer the phone.
There's a mortgage to be done, Sandra.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Judy calls.
Where you can put financing deals together, right? You can be on the gross grind and we can make it happen. Tony, just before we get into our personal questions here, I hope you can just answer a few questions from our listeners. After you were on the air with us here on Renovate and Build, people got a hold of us at radio@fairtradeworks.biz. And Anna from North Van wrote us, and she's self-employed, and she said, "Is this going to be harder for me to get my first mortgage, Tony?"
Well, Anna, yes, it will
Unfortunately.
be. Yes, this is one area of lending that's been most affected with the recent mortgage tightening. So I'm sorry to say that, yes, the days of easy money are over, at least for now. Today, lenders are highly scrutinizing self-employed clients, and they are not flexible. So it's a different landscape that we've seen here, today than we've seen over the last 5 years. Along with myself, there are many lenders that specialize in self-employed lending. So the good news is there's plenty of solutions available for Anna, whether it's a 10% down mortgage, a refinance up to 85% of the client's equity in the home, construction draw mortgages, and of course, this may really apply to Anna, stated income mortgages are still available.
Okay. So there's definitely something that she can do.
Definitely good solutions.
Okay.
Yes, plenty
Very
of options, but again, it's about finding the right person to talk to kind of unlock those solutions. So, Tony, I got another question. Ed from White Rock is asking, what do you personally think is going to happen to our interest rates?
This is a magic question.
That's a magic question. If I only had a quarter every time I've been asked that, Jim. Well, here's the thing. I mean, interest rates are at an all-time low. Fixed interest rates are as low as 2.5%. I don't think I've ever seen that. Variable mortgage rates are at, down to 2.3%. And these rates, you don't need me to tell you, are very attractive. But at some point, they're going to change. And it's that change that's probably going to create the problem. It's the transition from low interest rates to high interest rates. I believe interest rates are going to rise quicker than most people think. And the big challenge for the most part is when it does happen, you'll miss it. Rates will be higher before you think about it and before you hear about it. So, in my opinion,
reminds me of the 80s.
Well, I mean, we're going to see a change at some point in time. The things that all these governments across the globe have been doing are going to create inflation, and that inflation, I think, is going to creep in, and I think it'll happen very, very quickly. And in fact, maybe you shouldn't quote me on this, but it could be the cause of the next financial crisis in the globe.
Okay. Well, what can people do to protect themselves from the interest rates then?
Well, the first thing, they should be talking to me.
Right.
Well, that goes without saying.
And it's why we're talking about it seriously here, because everyone always says, if somebody would have just told me, here we are, we're talking about it.
And the problem with interest rates is that most people, when they don't see it coming, and in fact, when they do see it coming, they'll panic and make the wrong choice. But the first thing the customer should be doing is taking a look at their financial position. Get this second opinion, and why not? It's free.
Right.
So get a second opinion. Find out what your financial situation looks like, and get an holistic approach and honest feedback and honest advice. For many customers, their budgets are stretched now. It's not easy making their regular monthly payments. A rise in interest rates will not help. And I recommend clients take action now, get a rate hold in place, and those rate holds can be held for up to 120 days.
I was going to ask that. So 120 days I can get my rates held. Okay.
Interesting, Tony. I've got another question, Tony. What do you feel is one of the biggest myths about financing that you'd like to dispel to our listeners this morning?
Well, there's a few of those, Jim.
Tony's favorite question.
Well, I've been doing this business for a long time, and one of the things I often hear is that mortgage brokers charge fees. Well, yes, there's odd occasions in certain circumstances that a fee is going to be applicable. It's the nature of the deal. But in most cases, for the average person, no, mortgage brokers are not expensive. They're not charging fees, and you don't have to worry about a fee. The other myth, and it's probably something that's very common today, is if I have equity in my property, I can get access to easy, cheap money. And those days of just having equity in a property to get cheap money is over. It's more about the ability to repay the debt today. And so it's not about just having the equity. Equity will guarantee you the money, but it won't guarantee you a 2.5% rate.
Interesting. Okay, this leads me to my next question. What do you think will be the trend then in the real estate market over the next few years?
Well, it's real estate right across the country, whether it's Calgary, whether it's Toronto, whether it's Vancouver. Prices continue to rise. It becomes very frustrating for the average homeowner. And in fact, if you look at Vancouver exclusively, we're up 6% over this time last year, already in prices. It was expensive before. It's only going to get worse. And I suspect much worse if rates continue, or if rates were to rise. The affordability thing it's a key issue now. It's going to be a key issue in the future. Customers can protect themselves, so there are some things they can be doing, and it's really about the mortgage you secure. Variable rate mortgages over the last number of years have saved thousands in interest for the average client, and it really provides the lowest payment over any other fixed rate option. However, for those clients that are looking to get the security of a fixed rate, well, as I mentioned earlier, we're at that time now where people should be looking at securing something. 35-year amortization mortgages. They still exist. There's the odd lender still offering that product, and it's a wonderful product to offer with a low fixed rate. So you take a 35-year amortization at a rate of 2.79. Well, hello,
yeah,
it's a no-brainer, And of course, there's still the interest-only option for mortgages, although it's not something I'd recommend, highly recommend, because I believe you should be doing more than just paying interest, but it's still there.
Right,
So,
for those who need it.
For those who need it, you bet.
Just one more question before we let you go, Tony. There are a lot of people listening that have their mortgages paid off. They've just been investing. This is also a good time for lenders, as the interest rate we're worrying about it going up.
Well, financial institutions is a leveraged business, so they profit the most when rates fall. So maybe we'll continue to see rates fall because it seems the world is controlled by the banking system today. So, but no, the price appreciation, the inflation that we're seeing in terms of home prices is really driven by a number of different factors other than just interest rates. It's employment growth, it's wage growth, it's immigration growth, population growth. So the trend on real estate, in fact, is probably going to be one where get used to either living in a very small space or paying a very huge price. Single-family dwellings with green space is going to be a thing of the past, not a thing of the future. Right. Strata, small density, or high density, small homes, small square footage is going to be the future. So there seems to be a panic in the market for people to secure homes at today's prices, and I think it's not just a perceived panic. I think it's real. I think people should be looking to secure a low fixed rate, a good price on a home, and do that sooner than later.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you is make sure you talk to the right people, always get second opinion, but as you said, plan ahead. Don't let this hit you at the last minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think lots of people are kind of sitting back too and just thinking that it's going to be the old cycle that they've seen in the past, and they think, oh, it's just immigration, inflation, all these things, and it's going to drop back down and plateau back to these old cycles, and that's just simply not the truth. Like it's a world economy. It's driving forward, and we're experiencing situations and logistics and
cycles that we haven't seen.
Cycles that we just simply haven't seen before in Canada before. It's not the prices haven't suddenly inflated and they're going to drop back down again. This is growth, and this is the way the world is going, and people really need to talk to an expert about long-term planning, because if they don't deal with a true expert, then they're going to, it's going to be problematic.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, so thanks very much, Tony. We've been speaking with Tony Ionetti, owner and consultant of DLC Mortgage Matches. You can learn more about financing options by joining Tony on his website at tonyionetti.ca. That's Tony, IANNETTI.ca, or you can call him at 604-505-6880. That's 604-505-6880, and if he doesn't answer the phone, he's obviously on the grouse grind.
Okay, you guys, before you leave, Tony, did you know that half of Vancouverites are actually renters, as we were talking about home ownership? An interesting statistic.
Very interesting.
It is. But the problem with so many people renting is that, of course, our vacancy rates are very low. What are the solutions to meet our high housing demands and our even higher costs? Well, architect and lifetime Vancouver resident Tim Ankman will be joining us later this hour to offer his solutions.
And coming up right after the break, we're gearing up for another round of product face-off. This week, Gary and Meg will be talking shower doors.
There's still lots more ahead. This is Renovate and Build, powered by Fair Trade Works with Jim and Sandra.